This is Tuesday Spark. I'm Dr. Tait. Look, thank you for joining me tonight. Tuesday Spark is about words of inspiration, words of information, and words of insight. Perhaps make spark something in your mind. Listen, I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I just want you to think. That's what this show is all about. It's getting you to think. So tonight I want to talk about Black is Beautiful, the influence of fashion. This is sort of part 2 of a series I've been working on. So the thing is, what do you think about Black is Beautiful? What comes to your mind when somebody says, Black is beautiful? How do you view beauty? How do you think about it? If you're a Black person, what's the first thoughts that goes into your mind? I remember being in South Sudan and seeing a person that we would label as blue black. I mean, I'm talking about so black that they almost look purple. But this person was absolutely beautiful. And I thought about how I was taught that wasn't beautiful. I had cousins and relatives who were dark. One of my favorite cousins was my cousin Sharon Tait. She's my first cousin, Uncle Nate's daughter. And she was blue black. She was dark, but she was absolutely gorgeous. And she could sing. And I know sometimes when people are dark, they go through life, people call them names and they don't consider them beautiful. But to me, Black is beautiful. But not just, the darkness, but all shades of being Black. So fashion, though, to me, seems to speak a language that somehow connects you to the personality, to the era of times in history that's being sort of lived out. It also says something about the people who adorn the clothes that catch our eyes. I want to begin this conversation again about beauty and Black beauty in particular, and fashion and culture and colorism and activism. So if you're watching me, I hope that if you have any questions or comments, put it down in your comment line. And also while you're watching, invite some people to join us. So I read a blog about fashion by Christine Schoenwald in the Huffington Post. And it raised a question. It says, what's your favorite go-to clothing color says about your personality? So what your favorite go-to clothing color says about your personality? You have a go-to color. Everybody has a go-to color. I wear a lot of black these days. And you could wear blue. Your go-to color could be red. But what's that? What does it say about your personality? What does it say about you? So perhaps the color of your clothes and reveal a lot about your personality. Clothes are part of your personal expression. The clothes you wear can communicate messages that your mouth can't articulate in those sort of immediate surroundings and even the world. Clothes have been very integral to the human experience. I remember my first time visiting Ethiopia, and I had jeans. I bought several pair, and I didn't realize that they didn't have jeans that they could get their hands on as easily as I could in the United States. And as I was leaving, one of the guys said, Doc, can I have your jeans? I was like, wow, these things have been worn. I said, you sure you want them? He said, yes. So I gave him my jeans. And of course, I'm pretty sure what I was wearing, it spoke and it communicated something to him about America, about me, and probably things that I wasn't even aware about at the time. Feeling like an outsider because I didn't wear suits. I didn't like wearing suits. I couldn't wear them. I didn't like wearing robes. As a preacher, I wanted to be free to wear what made me feel good as a person, and what I wanted to express, sort of a sense of myself. And so it didn't make sense for me to be wearing something that I didn't feel comfortable in. I preferred wearing a nice pair of jeans or with a t-shirt or button-down untucked shirt, or perhaps sweatpants and with a colorful t-shirt or sweatshirt on with a nice pair of sneakers. And a lot of times when I started seminary, I would go to class. That was a long time ago, 1984. All these other people were older students and they were wearing these suits. Some of them wear alligator shoes. They came out of the Baptist church, and I would be there with my sweatpants on and a t-shirt and a backpack. But that was my self-expression. Of course, I was considered an outsider because I didn't wear this uniform. I didn't acquiesce to what everybody else was doing. And I wasn't really trying to make a statement. I just didn't like it. And since I was always considered a sort of outsider in the ministry, to being Pentecostal, now that was different too, because Pentecostal, they dressed up to the nine. It was a day that women couldn't even wear makeup. They had to wear long dresses. They had to do all this stuff. And of course, as a man, you were expected to wear a suit and tie, particularly in the ministry. If you were going to sit in the pulpit, you had to have the right uniform on. But I decided to dress the way I felt, to express who I was, even though I knew I would get some backlash. I didn't realize how bad it would be. But then, of course, I picked up dressing sort of in an Afrocentric way. This simply means that picking up some materials from Africa like Tait. I love those patterns and the colors and sense of connection to the African continent. And it was about expression to me. And it was about a beauty of blackness. And black is beautiful for me, not just because of my skin color, but about the clothes I decided to wear and the outward expression of an inward transformation. And if you can believe it, I had locks at one time. Not because I was a Rastafarian, but because I wanted to wear my hair the way I wanted to wear it. Sometimes my hair wouldn't behave because my hair is kind of strange. Some places it's puffy, some places a little straight. Sometimes it's not as kinky as I would like it to be. But it was my expression of my own black, beautiful self. And sometimes perhaps some of you feel that way. Like you're an outsider. You want to wear your hair a certain way. You're worried about what they're going to say on the job or whether you're going to be accepted. And you do it anyway. So Constance Constance White, she wrote in the Time magazine, and she's also the author of a book called How to Slay, inspiration from the queens and the kings of black style. And she wrote an article entitled How African Americans Have Influenced Style and Culture. She talked about today's blossoming Afrocentric fashions goes hand in hand with the robust Black Lives Matter movement against racial injustice. When courageous NFL star quarterback Colin Kaepernick took a knee, a symbolic stand against police brutality by kneeling down during the national anthem at the start of his game, something was interesting happening to him. And at first, he would just wear his hair either really closely cropped or really clean shaven. But then he wore his hair in this curly, kinky fro, and it was big, and it sort of set him out with a style. It also made me think about the Black Panthers in the 60s. And even though style can be superficial, but it also can be undeniable as an expression of significant social, cultural, and economic realities. We black folks, we have a sense of style. We like to express ourselves. We do our nails different. We do our hair different, our makeup. And guess what? People love to copy our style and our culture. So fashion is embedded in our culture. Black style has been a significant contributor and influence from subgenres like hip hop and soul and jazz and gospel and sports as it relates to fashion. Historically, what comes to mind is band leaders like Cab Calloway, who popularized dramatically baggy zoot suit pants. Jazzmen and blueswomen started trends like as Billie Holiday, but she used to wear a flower in her hair. Black is beautiful. Our influence on fashion cannot be understated. As they do today, early internetators took colors and found their style within the black community. In this back and forth exchange that the black community in turn fed off and expanded upon the looks entertainers wore on stage and screen and at public appearances. Beyonce's sort of exquisite Lemonade video, if you watch all those videos in there, you see all this style and these colors and very powerful sort of on-stage presence of her as the central female figure, but other figures within there wearing sort of braids and afros and New Orleans Creole style, among other sort of things that are happening. But here's the real deal. Some folks fail to see, because I'm an outsider, and I don't always fit into these traditional views of how a minister or a preacher ought to look. And maybe you have the same experience on your job or wherever you are, and you just don't fit in. They don't see or acknowledge the beauty of blackness of who you are and even your black style. And my black style then is often missed Amidst, because of its beauty, its innovation, probably someone like you. Even my son is very expressive in how he dresses and what he wears. And many times it's failed to be acknowledged. But remember, tonight, black is beautiful. And the fashion that we collectively and individually often create is to be celebrated and embraced. Look, have a wonderful evening. Remember, black is beautiful and your fashion speaks loud.